I've made it my mission so that at least 80 to 90% of my closet is only clothes that I've sewn myself. And it might sound a little bit crazy and a little too hard to accomplish, but I've been sewing for a long time, and honestly, I sew at least one garment per week. And truthfully, right now I have not counted, but I'm pretty sure I'm at least at 50% of my closet being clothes that I've made myself, which is pretty exciting. And with every video I make and with every pattern I try from Icelo, I keep getting closer and closer. I'm actually wearing a skirt right now, which is the one that we made on our last video. I absolutely love it. It's so comfy and it's perfect because it's linen. As you know, we're in spring, I think. I really don't know exactly when summer starts, but it's pretty much like tomorrow. So everything I'll be sewing from now will pretty much be more for summer, which is amazing because those are my favorite clothes to sew. I think they're so fun. I think the best patterns are for summer, so I'm so excited about that. And if you're just watching this video and you don't sew and want to start, take this as a sign to start learning how to sew. I swear it has changed my life. I can make everything I want in my size, so everything fits me perfectly, or I could even modify clothes that I already have to fit me a lot better. And not only that, with Icelo, which by the way, if you don't know what Icelo is, or if you're new here, in Icelo you can generate accurate and professional sewing patterns with your own measurements and visualize it in an avatar before actually sewing the pattern. So you get to see how the clothes will fit on you before you sew them. I've only discovered this a few months ago, but now almost all of the clothes I sew are with patterns from Icelo. It's actually surreal to me how much less time I take pattern making when just using Icelo. It's incredible, and I've sewn tons of patterns from Icelo before. They fit me so well, so nicely. They hug my body perfectly, and you can tell that it's made for my body. And in Icelo you could also make other sizes or grade sizes you already have, but honestly mostly I just use my avatar, which has my measurements. So yeah, before I get talking too much, let's get on with today's project. I'm so excited about this one. I have a pretty clear idea and inspiration of what I'd like, which I'll show you in a little bit because I also bought the fabric already and it's perfect. You know that sometimes you go looking for some fabric because you want to make the exact same as the inspiration you had, but you don't really find that exact thing. Well, this time I did find the exact fabric I was looking for, which is so exciting. And this is a really summer project because it's more of a cover-up for when you're using a bathing suit or you're going to the beach. So let me show you what it is. Okay, so I'm looking right now at my inspiration and it's really straightforward and an easy design, I guess so. As you can see, I already know what pattern from Icelo I'll be using, which are the lounge pants. But as I said, I want to make them as a cover up for the beach or the pool. I think it's perfect. So if you want to learn how to make your pattern for yourself to make these pants, make sure to follow the video. I promise the pattern is going to be so easy to sew. And if you sew, you know that these types of pants are so easy to sew, hopefully. I don't want to jinx myself. So yeah, let's just get started. I'm going to show you first how to make the pattern in Icelo, and then I'll just get to sewing. Before anything, let me show you the fabric I got. The color is perfect and the fabric weight is perfect as well. These pants I think take a little bit more fabric than I thought they would, so I got about 2.5 yards for the pants. And just look how pretty it is. It has that see-through look that I wanted, and I love the off-white color. It's not like really white, which I really like. And I don't know if you can see, and I don't know if that's what it's called, but it has like that grainy texture that the first inspiration picture had. When I found it at the first place I went to, it was amazing. Sometimes I have to go to more than one place to find what I want, but this one is exactly what I wanted. So let's see how it turns out. Right where the magic happens, which is icelo.com, and this is the first thing you'll always see. I generally just go straight to design tools and it takes me immediately to all of the patterns that you can use and create on Icelo. There's tons of options: blouses, dresses, pants, shirts, endless options actually. Here in pants, as you know, I'll be using lounge pants, so I just go ahead and create that one. And the first thing you'll see is this digital avatar wearing the garment. This is a default avatar, so something you have to keep in mind is that you have to create your own avatar. As you can see, I've already created mine, but if you want to create your own or someone else's, you just have to add these measurements and you'll have your avatar. It's literally that simple. So I just select mine and now my avatar is wearing the garment. And now we can go ahead and modify the pattern however we'd like. You could honestly leave it as it is. It looks fine, but I like it to be a little bit more flowy. And as you can see, the slider is over here all the way to the left, which is the slim fit. And I'd like it to be a lot more relaxed. So let's see how that changes. Okay, so immediately it looks a lot better, more like my inspiration, which is amazing. And the length honestly looks great. I love floor length pants, especially when they're flowy. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and change the color. Maybe something like this. and with a mesh fabric, so it looks a little bit see-through. Yeah, perfect. I think that is basically what my pants will look like. So let's see once I sew them how they look. Something really fun is that if you go over here on this clothing hanger, you can upload an image of yourself to see how the pattern will look on you. Not only your avatar with your measurements, but on you. So let's try it out. Let me upload my picture. Okay, so here I've just added an image of myself. So let's upload it. It's this one here. And these are the pants. So let's see what this comes up with. Okay, so this is what it came up with, and it actually does look a lot like it. It seems like it left a pair of shorts underneath, but it looks really, really great. And this is probably what it will look like. So let's see it at the end and compare it. I'm going to download the image so I can show you how it looks besides me actually wearing the pants I made. Okay, so after I've done that, I just saved my project. So let's just say beach pants cover up. I save it and I can go ahead and download it, but first I actually always check over here and see how much fabric I'll be needing for my project. You just add the width measurement of your fabric and see how much fabric you'll be needing. So a little bit less than 2.5 meters is what I'll be needing for this pattern. And now I can just go ahead and download my pattern. I always use US letter formats, and everything looks fine, so I can just go ahead and download it. I wanted to show you what you get once you download the pattern. The first page will always be this one, no matter what pattern you download from Icelo. And it's really important that you print out this page first so you can measure out this test square. So if this measures 10 by 10 centimeters once printed, it means you can go ahead and print the rest. If not, you have to check your printing settings. The second page will always be a pattern layout that always varies depending on the pattern pieces, size you're making, everything. And this just helps you know how to assemble the pattern. And from now on, you just get all of the pattern. In this case, I have 24 pages I need to print out, which is great. This pattern is really big, but it's okay because it's actually just one pattern piece. This pattern piece works for the front and back of the pattern. So for example, when you close it on the inseam, you have the front and back all together. You can tell the difference on the center front and center back. The center back is a lot larger than the center front. And actually this pattern already has the extra seam allowance for the addition of the elastic for the elastic waistband. But I actually got a bigger elastic than this, so let me show you. And as you can see, it's about 1 centimeter wider than this one. So maybe I'll add 1 centimeter, but I was also thinking of just trimming all of this off and make a separate waistband because I love the look of a separate waistband. And that way I can gather this before attaching the waistband, which is what I was planning on doing first. So maybe I will do that. I think it'll be easier. And for the waistband, I can just cut a rectangle that covers the entire waistband of the pants. Honestly, saying that out loud just sounds better. So I'm gonna go ahead and just trim this off. I'm just gonna leave about 1 centimeter for the seam allowance. I think that's good enough. And honestly, it doesn't matter that this waistband is curvy and the waistband that I'll be cutting is just a rectangle because it'll gather up and the elastic will just fit on your waist. So no need to worry about that. I would worry if these were pants that did not have an elastic waistband. Okay, so I have to cut this pattern twice, once for the right side and once for the left side, because as I told you, we have the front and back on the same pattern piece. Okay, so now we're going to start sewing. There's not many steps that we have to follow, but this is a delicate fabric, so that tends to make the process a little bit longer. And I was thinking that since this is a see-through project, because not only is a see-through fabric, you're also going to be able to see a lot the seams from the outside of the garment. I was thinking we could do a French seam on all of the seams instead of zigzag stitching or overcasting. So the first thing I'm going to do is sew both center fronts together. But instead of facing them right sides together, I'm going to sew them first wrong sides together. So like this. In case you don't know what a French seam is, you basically hide one raw seam with another seam. So I'll show you how to do that, and you can decide if you want to do it or not. So I'm going to sew here, leaving a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And I'm going to pin the center back together as well. Wrong sides together. Instead of leaving a 1 centimeter seam allowance, I'm going to sew like 5 millimeters from the edge, or even closer if I can. After sewing that, we're just going to move to our iron, and we're going to press those seams open. So for example, here I think this is the back seam, and I'm just going to press it open. I have to be really careful with this type of fabric. I don't want the iron to stick to the fabric and melt down all of my fabric. That will be my worst nightmare. So I'm just going to start with a low temperature. And we're going to trim off the excess seam allowance very carefully. It doesn't have to be too much. And now we're going to face it right sides together. And now we can press again. And now we're going to enclose the seam by making another seam, leaving a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Okay, so let me show you how the seam ends up looking like. This right here, let me try to show you the pants. You can already see the shape of the pants, and this seam right here would be on the wrong side of the pants. So the right side of the pants would be this one. Okay, so this would be the right side of the pants. And as you can see, it's such a pretty way to finish a seam, especially if you're going to be able to look at it from the right side of the garment. And now we're going to go ahead and finish the inseam with the same method. So first, wrong sides together, like this. Make sure to match the seams, and then we can sew it right sides together. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back. Now I'm going to work on the waistband. I cut 2 rectangles that measure the same as the waistband on the pants, and it's double the width plus a little bit more for the seam allowance from the elastic. I cut 2 because since this is a see-through fabric, I don't want the elastic waistband to be too see-through. So you wouldn't necessarily have to cut 2, but I did. And what I'm going to be doing is right sides on top of each other. And now I'm just going to close them together on the sides. Like, I'm going to act as if this was just one fabric piece. And I'm just going to close it here on the side. So I sewed it here like this. And now I have all of this. And what I'm going to do Now my waistband is completely ready, and don't mind the excess amount of threads coming out. This fabric frays a lot. And look how pretty it looks. Right now, if I were to leave it like this, it'll probably get like twisted around if I don't make some stitch lines to secure the elastic. So to do that, I'm just going to distribute the elastic evenly along the entire fabric or waistband. And I'm going to do about, I think, 2 straight stitches around. And while I'm sewing, I'm going to stretch the elastic so the fabric stretches with it. Now that we have our waistband ready and our pants ready, we just have to attach them together on the waist. So basically this will stretch with the pants and make those small gatherings on the pants. Here I have the seam where I closed the entire waistband. I'm just going to face that right sides together downwards with the front or back seam. Honestly, in this case, it doesn't mind which one I do it with because you can't really see it. But if you could really see it, I would suggest attaching it to the back seam. So here I just attached it and zigzag stitched the raw edge, and last but not least I just hemmed the pants. And you guys, I am so impressed with this pattern and how elegant it actually looks with this fabric. As soon as I finished, I wanted to try it on with my favorite bathing suit, and I think it looks so elegant, so chic. I cannot wait to use this for the pool or for the beach. I think it looks so pretty, and it was so easy to make. Honestly, 10 out of 10 for this pattern. I think it fits me so nice, it's comfy, but at the same time, the outfit looks so well put together, and it's all thanks to the pants. Oh, and I totally forgot to mention that I made this separate piece that I tied around my waist with some leftover fabric. It's just a rectangle of fabric with the hemmed edges, and look how nice it looks. You could even use this as a cover-up as well without the pants. And tell me it doesn't look exactly like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'll see you next week with another pattern.